The wait is finally over. After years of anticipation and careful secrecy, the United Kingdom has unveiled the Tempest, its next-generation, sixth-generation fighter jet, set to succeed the iconic Eurofighter Typhoon and redefine the future of aerial combat. Introducing the Tempest 6th-generation fighter jet. The long-awaited day has arrived. The United Kingdom has officially lifted the veil on Tempest, its next-generation, sixth-generation fighter jet, destined to succeed the Eurofighter Typhoon and chart a bold new course for aerial combat. Curious to see what the skies will look like with Tempest? Hit subscribe and follow along as we track the next era of air combat. Designed under the banner of Team Tempest, a partnership involving top aerospace firms and the UK Ministry of Defence, Tempest promises to be more than just an upgrade. It aims to redefine what a fighter jet can be. With a sleek delta-wing airframe and twin-engine layout, Tempest retains the agility and responsiveness expected of a modern combat jet. Yet it goes several steps further. Inside lies a vision of future warfare. Like integrated sensors, advanced avionics, stealthy construction, and the ability to operate in manned, unmanned, or hybrid modes. Strategically designed for deep-reach missions, Tempest is built with extended range and internal payload capacity, allowing it to fly farther, strike with precision, and return without frequent refueling or external support. The Tempest isn't just a new plane, but a leap into a new era. It embodies the ambition to stay steps ahead in an increasingly complex threat landscape, combining stealth, adaptability, and cutting-edge technology in a future-proof platform. Perhaps one of the highlights of the Tempest is its next-generation stealth, which reduces signatures. Next-gen stealth and reduced signatures. The Tempest marks a new chapter in stealth aviation, one built around reducing visibility and signatures across radar, heat, and sensor detection. From the start, Tempest has been shaped to avoid detection. Its airframe flows with smooth, angular surfaces and a cropped delta-wing planform that helps deflect radar waves rather than allowing them to bounce back to enemy radars. The basis of its low observability design is the internal carriage of weapons and fuel. By avoiding external pylons and exposed fuel tanks, Tempest preserves a clean profile, one that doesn't betray its presence through sharp radar reflective shapes or protruding components. Underneath its sleek exterior, the jet conceals features intended to minimize thermal and infrared signatures. Engines, air intakes, and exhaust systems are designed with ducting and heat management in mind, helping to mask hot engine parts and exhaust plumes that might otherwise give away the jet's position to heat-seeking sensors. All these design decisions, aerodynamic shaping, internal storage, and heat-masking architecture work together to make Tempest a stealth-focused hunter. Instead of confronting threats head-on, it aims to slip through air defense networks, penetrate deeper, strike with precision, and withdraw unseen. For the UK and its partners, Tempest represents a new aircraft where invisibility, subtlety, and technological sophistication become as important as speed or firepower. Engine and power technology. The engine and power technology behind BAE Systems' Tempest marks a fundamental shift in how a modern combat jet will operate. At the heart of this transformation is Rolls-Royce's next-generation propulsion system, which uses its innovative embedded electrical starter generator embedded directly in the core of a gas turbine engine. By embedding the starter generator, the need for a bulky external gearbox and generator, the traditional means for powering onboard systems, is eliminated. Instead of simply providing thrust, this engine design is engineered to meet vastly greater electrical and thermal demands. Dual-spool embedded generators, which are connected to high and low pressure shafts, can operate as motors or generators, allowing power to be transferred dynamically between spools and yielding both improved responsiveness and efficiency. An integrated energy storage system and purposeful software control called a power manager, intelligently allocates electricity where needed for radars, sensors, cooling systems, electronic warfare gear, or even high-energy weapons like directed energy lasers. Thermal management has also been reimagined with the Tempest. Instead of dumping excess heat overboard, the engine and surrounding systems are designed to recycle thermal energy, using the gas turbine as a heat sink. This keeps temperatures under control and supports stealth by minimizing distinctive heat signatures. Tempest Power Plant is the central power hub for every system on board. From avionics and sensors to future-proof weapons and electronic systems, the engine's electrical power and thermal management capabilities give the Tempest both the versatility and endurance necessary for next-generation air combat. But if Tempest's engine can generate the kind of electrical power usually reserved for entire ground installations, and if its thermal systems keep high-energy weapons stable during supersonic flight, then a far bigger question emerges. What happens when that immense power fuels an entirely new kind of brain within the aircraft? How does a fighter jet harness that energy to process data, predict threats, and make split-second decisions faster than any human ever could? Avionics and AI. The heart of Tempest might be its engine and stealth, but its soul will be defined by its avionics and artificial intelligence systems. Leonardo UK is building what could become one of the most advanced sensor and mission systems ever fitted to a combat jet. At the core lies a new sensor suite and mission architecture called integrated sensing and non-kinetic effects, along with a high-bandwidth communication backbone. It intends to fuse data from radar, infrared, and electronic warfare sensors into a coherent, real-time battlespace picture. This isn't simply an upgrade. The radar system planned for Tempest is described as capable of capturing a city's worth of data every second. It offers 10,000 times more information than current systems. But raw data alone doesn't win fights, and what matters is how fast and accurately you interpret it. That's where AI comes in. Tempest is being designed for human-machine teaming. It combines machine learning and AI systems, which will process enormous data streams, identify threats, prioritize targets, and deliver clear, actionable information to the pilot. In the cockpit, likely stripped of bulky panels and instruments, augmented and virtual reality displays projected onto the pilot's visor will replace traditional dials and screens, giving the pilot a wearable cockpit where situational awareness, mission data, and sensor overlays are visible at a glance. The architecture is being built as a networked system of systems. Tempest might not fight alone, but coordinate with unmanned drones, satellites, and other platforms, all connected by high-speed data links and AI-driven coordination. Tempest avionics and AI transform the jet itself into a smart, adaptive combat node. To improve its combat readiness, the Tempest is compatible with diverse, cutting-edge weapons and drones. Before we dive into what makes the Tempest even more powerful, if you're enjoying this breakdown of the next-generation fighter jet, hit that like button and subscribe. We cover cutting-edge military aviation, technology breakthroughs, and defense strategy every week. And trust me, the Tempest weapons and drones are nothing short of surprising. Weapons and drones. The arsenal and drone integration features of Tempest mark it as a true next-generation combat platform. The aircraft is designed with internal weapons bays and modular payload bays, enabling it to carry advanced missiles and munitions while preserving stealth and aerodynamic performance. Among the intended weapons are beyond visual range air-to-air missiles and precision strike munitions drawn from the latest generation of armaments. Because those come stored internally, the fuel, weapons, and payload are tucked away within the airframe instead of being mounted externally. Tempest maintains a sleek, low observable profile when cruising or engaging hostile air defenses. The Tempest is also compatible with hypersonic missiles, as future-looking plans for the craft include compatibility with advanced deep strike weapons, and hypersonic missiles that can engage high-value or time-sensitive targets at long range. With its powerful onboard electrical and thermal architecture, Tempest is being designed to support non-kinetic weapons, which could be used for air defense, anti-sensor, or electronic warfare roles. But Tempest doesn't plan to fight alone. Its concept embraces loyal wingmen drones, which are unmanned aircraft that fly alongside the main jet, extending its reach, multiplying its sensor coverage, and executing high-risk tasks from reconnaissance to suppressing enemy defenses. This means that Tempest can orchestrate a coordinated strike, mixing piloted precision, unmanned redundancy, and technical flexibility. While the jet maneuvers in stealth and delivers payloads, its drone wingman can scout enemy radar, jam or confuse defenses, or even engage targets themselves. The result? A layered, networked combat capability that shifts the paradigm from single-jet dogfights to integrated aerial operations. Tempest's weapons and drone capabilities promise a new kind of air combat, where advanced missiles and unmanned support combine to give pilots more power and smarter options on the modern battlefield. But here's the twist. The real power of Tempest lies not only in what it carries today, but in what it could become tomorrow. Thanks to a deliberately modular, plug-and-play design philosophy, Tempest is being built to evolve. That means Tempest is a living platform. As technology advances, new weapon types, sensors, electronic warfare tools, and energy-based weapons can be integrated. Tempest can always be updated, reconfigured, and upgraded accordingly. Future-proof system. At the heart of that adaptability is a modular, open architecture design. Tempest's internal bays, standardized mounts, and flexible payload, fuel, and sensor configurations allow mission-specific reconfigurations without the need for a complete redesign. This means that as sensors, weapons, or propulsion technology evolve, those new components can be integrated into existing airframes, making upgrades significantly faster, cheaper, and less disruptive than with older generation jets. What's more, the way Tempest is built, using cutting-edge methods such as additive manufacturing like 3D printing and digital twin engineering, ensures long-term adaptability. Around 30% of the aircraft's structural parts are planned to be 3D printed, and this is a process that enables light, stronger, and easier to produce components, while drastically reducing manufacturing time and waste. With the digital twin modeling, every Tempest airframe will have a virtual replica tracking its state, configuration, and maintenance history, allowing engineers to test upgrades in a synthetic environment before applying them physically. That means redesigning subsystems, experimenting with new shapes or materials, or integrating novel electronics can happen far more rapidly and responsively than traditional aircraft programs ever allowed. With the plug-and-play upgrades of sensors, weapons, and electronics, the Tempest is designed to evolve and remain effective as threats change over decades. The Tempest will also generate far more onboard electrical power than existing jets, enough to power high-demand systems like directed energy weapons, advanced sensors, and cooling systems. Tempest is a living, evolving combat platform. As new threats arise and sensor and weapons technology advances, Tempest is built to grow and transform with them. But the UK is investing a lot of money into making the Tempest a success, as they plan to dominate the skies. Budget, costs, and goals. The official funding for the early phase of Tempest comes from the UK government's commitment to invest around £2 billion through 2025 for conceptual design, technology maturation, and preparatory work. In 2021, the government awarded a £250 million contract to jumpstart the program's concept and assessment phase, a symbolic step marking Tempest's formal development. More recently, in 2023, the government granted about £656 million to the Core Development Consortium, underscoring continuing commitment. That said, the total eventual cost to fully develop, produce, and deploy Tempest is expected to be much larger. As independent defense analysts look into the technological ambition, scale, and historical precedents, they estimate that a full-scale pilotable Tempest program could cost in the range of 25 billion to 30 billion pounds. That means the Tempest will have to rival or exceed previous generation programs in ambition and capability. So far, the government has allocated only a portion of this under a broader 10-year combat air budget, probably a total of 12 billion pounds in planned funding for the coming years. So the final costs and procurement scale haven't been determined yet. The government has admitted that the amount that they invest will be determined at future decision points, depending on the technology selected, efficiency of international cooperation, and overall delivery model. Beyond raw numbers, Tempest is being positioned as a critical investment in the UK's long-term defense posture. The program is a replacement for current generation jets, like the Eurofighter Typhoon, but also a means to preserve the UK's sovereign combat air manufacturing capability, maintain high-tech employment, and anchor the national aerospace industry well into the 2040s and beyond. The massive investment into the Tempest raises a tougher question. In an age where inexpensive, mass-produced drones and networked sensor systems are many, is Tempest a strategic necessity or simply an expensive technological showpiece? Strategic context. The launch of Tempest comes at a critical moment in global military aviation, and its strategic context helps explain why the UK, in partnership with Italy and Japan, is doubling down on cutting-edge fighters, even as drone swarms and network systems proliferate. Tempest is meant to respond to a shifting threat landscape where potential adversaries are deploying advanced air defense networks, long-range missiles, and electronic warfare systems. Traditional fighters, even fifth-generation fighters, might struggle to survive or operate effectively in heavily contested airspace. Tempest's stealth, long-range, internal weapons carriage, and powerful sensors allow it to penetrate such defenses, strike deep, and return without needing any refueling or escort. Secondly, the jet is being developed not just as a standalone aircraft, but as a hub in a broader system of systems. In future war scenarios, fighters may need to coordinate with drones, satellites, ground assets, and other jets. Then they can exchange real-time data, command unmanned wingmen, and act as flexible nodes capable of air superiority, reconnaissance, strike, electronic warfare, and command and control. Tempest is built with that multi-domain, network-centric concept in mind. And let's not forget the international stage. Tempest supports the strategic ambitions of its partner nations. By pooling resources, technology, and industrial capacity across the UK, Italy, and Japan, GCAP hopes to maintain aerospace sovereignty and reduce reliance on external suppliers. This also strengthens defense cooperation among those nations, a signal of unity and shared deterrence in an era of rising geopolitical tensions. Finally, Tempest represents a hedge against uncertainty. It integrates modular systems, open architecture designs, and scalable manufacturing methods that keep it relevant and upgradable for decades. That way, even as threats evolve, whether through new missile types, cyber attacks, or novel surveillance systems, Tempest is meant to evolve too, offering long-term strategic value rather than becoming obsolete quickly. Tempest is redefining what air power means in the 2030s and beyond, and is following a development timeline that many countries are paying attention to. Development timeline. The journey of Tempest began in 2015, when the UK's defence planners launched a strategic review that set the stage for a next-generation combat air project. In the years that followed, the UK had a growing ambition not just to replace current jets, but to leap ahead. They planned to reforge their aerospace industry and build a truly advanced sixth-generation fighter platform. That ambition was publicly unveiled in July 2018, when, at the Farnborough Air Show, the UK government introduced Tempest under a broader combat air strategy. That marked the moment when the fighter's concept came to life, signaling that the country intended to retain sovereign combat air capability. By 2021, the project entered what is now called the concept and assessment phase. A contract awarded then allowed key companies to mature new technologies and prepare for demonstrator design. The program embraced modern development practices like digital engineering, simulation, and additive manufacturing. Then in July 2022, the government announced plans for a first flying demonstrator within 5 years. This demonstrator, effectively an advanced prototype, would be used to test key systems: stealth, engines, avionics, structure, and more. By 2024, assembly of that demonstrator had begun in earnest, with major structural work underway. By mid-2025, roughly 2/3 of the structural weight had already been manufactured. The plan is to complete the aircraft, conduct ground testing, and then aim for a maiden flight by 2027. Finally, looking further ahead, the goal is to have a fully operational fleet by 2035, during which the Tempest would replace older jets like the Eurofighter Typhoon in service. But behind the Tempest is a global collaboration that amplifies the ambition of the Tempest. Under GCAP, industrial heavyweights such as BAE Systems from the UK, Leonardo SPA from Italy, and Mitsubishi Heavy Industries from Japan are acting as lead systems integrators. This means each brings its national strengths: BAE Systems for airframe and systems integration, Leonardo for sensors and avionics, and Mitsubishi for manufacturing and systems work. The Tempest is a symbol of innovation, collaboration, and the future of air combat. Now, in an era of drones, network sensors, and rapidly evolving technology, will Tempest redefine air superiority, or will it become one of the many tools in a more complex, distributed battlefield? What do you think? Is Tempest the future of air power, or a high-tech marvel in a changing world? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe so we can keep making videos like this.